coming. Hey, so.
Hi lovies, welcome back. So today's tutorial is going to be on how I tie my turban stroke Badu wrap, whichever you choose to call it. This was what I wore in my beauty and skincare secrets video. If you haven't seen that already, you should, because it's really informative. And this scarf or wrap is perfect for any event or for a bad hair day. So let's jump right into the tutorial. I'm starting off with my hair braided all back, nothing on it because I do not have any extensions on. I'm going to be using three scarves. One is a satin scarf, the other is going to be a pashmina, which is quite thick, and mine is really long and fat in width, so I'm going to fold mine into two. And then I'm using a silk light scarf. This scarf is really light, it's also as long as the pashmina, and yeah. So I'm starting with the satin scarf. I'm going to make sure that one end is really short while the rest of the length is on the other side. I'm tucking in the really short end under the longer end of the scarf. This is going to secure that short end and help us have more of the long end to go around the head. So I'm going to take the longer end round the perimeter of my head until I get to the end of the scarf, which I would then tuck in that end to wherever the scarf ends, like I'm doing right now. So make sure that all ends are tucked in properly. That's the secret to this wrap. Make sure that all ends are properly tucked in. Now if you have hair extensions or anything, then you can actually skip this step, but if you're like me, that you're just using your natural hair braided all back, then you will need a skeleton for the wrap. So for this I'm using the pashmina. Like I said earlier, this pashmina is really thick and long, and I'm repeating the same process, making sure that one end is really short, which gives us more room for more wraps. So one end is really short, and that short end goes under the longer end of the scarf. Make sure that you make it a bit tight, but not too tight so that you don't have a headache. And then I'm grabbing everything together into one long line and crossing around the perimeter of my head. Another secret to this is to make sure that if you want the scarf really long, if you want the wrap really long in height, then you have to take the layers of the scarf over each other, not on top of each other. So it has to keep going up to make sure that your scarf or wrap gets the desired height. And if you think that one scarf is not enough for you, feel free to use as many scarves as you want until you get the desired height. I'm okay with just one scarf, and it's going to give me an average height. I'm making sure that it's perfectly arranged, and I'm tucking in all loose ends. So I'm going to show you guys two styles. The first style is going to give you the crisscross style in front, and this time I'm taking the scarf to the front. I'm starting with the front. I'm tucking in those ends to help me hold or have a better grip of the longer scarf. And I'm tightly crossing it over, not too tight like I said, but tight enough to make sure that the shorter end doesn't come off. And this time I'm using the scarf, the entire scarf, to cover the skeleton we had under, and that was combed using the pashmina. And I'm repeating the same process, taking the scarf over the perimeter of my head until I get to the end of the scarf, which I will then tuck in that end to wherever the scarf ends, if that makes any sense. But you guys are going to see that. Final tip here is to make sure that you arrange properly and then shake the scarf by pressing together. If you feel one side is too fat, that will give you a longer and neater look. And there goes style number one. For the second style, I'm just going to take off the last scarf we have on, and this time I'm going to be starting from the back. This process is the same process we use for the satin scarf and the pashmina, making sure that the shorter end is on one side and the rest of the length is on the other side, taking the shorter end under the longer end. Now this time you have to make sure that the scarf is laying flat over your forehead. So the only way you can do this is to ensure that you drag it tight enough but not too tight to lay flat. Then you take the shorter end in, holding it firmly. You drag the longer end out. Remember to make sure that all loose ends are tucked in, as you can see me doing. Then you take the rest of the length and wrap it round neatly. This time, this is the last scarf, so make sure that it's really neat and firm to give you a really clean look. Then tuck in that loose end. Remember to shape the scarf, and once you're done, you're good to go. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. Remember to give this tutorial a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to my channel if you're yet to. If you're yet to see that video that I was talking about at the beginning, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description bar, so be sure to check it out. Trust me, it's really informative. So that's it, guys. I hope you like it, and I'll see you guys next week Friday. Bye. Orí àlùkò àjà fún